This is Stephen Chin for nighthacking.com. I'm doing live JavaOne interviews with different JavaOne speakers. The JavaOne conference is from September 22nd through September 26th in San Francisco. And today I have with me Hans Dockter, who's the creator of Gradle. Hi, Hans.
Hi, Stephen. Nice to meet you.
So how are you doing? Are you all prepared for your JavaOne sessions?
Yeah, still a little bit of work to do, but I should be fine in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. And what's new in Gradle land? What have you been working on recently?
Yeah, I think our current focus at the moment is pushing the whole Android story, getting all the kind of features into Gradle that enables the Gradle Android plugin to be, even better. And the other thing we're working on right now is what we think world-class C++ support, including binary dependency management for C++ and stuff like that. That's our current focus, I would say.
Cool.
And I will talk about that at JavaOne. So one talk at JavaOne will be about the Android build system, which is maintained by the Google Android team, by the way, the Gradle Android plugin, but we're cooperating with them and kind of adding all the features to Gradle that would be helpful to them. So when I will present Android from both sides, on the one hand for Android developers, all the stuff you can do with it. On the other hand, showing the core Gradle features that make Gradle an appealing choice for.
Yeah, that's a big upgrade for Android developers over the old Ant build scripts they had to deal with.
Yeah.
And what's your other JavaOne session?
The other session is about the polyglot nowadays reality, and then how Gradle support technologies like Groovy, like Scala, like JavaFX.
Cool.
Right? And still providing kind of unified build experience even in a pretty heterogeneous environment.
Yeah, I've been swapping over my ScalaFX project we originally started with SBT and now we're using Gradle. So
cool.
It's been working out. Okay, so for folks who don't know anything about Gradle, can you give kind of a quick elevator pitch on what it is and why they might want to consider using it?
Yeah, so Gradle is a next generation build system which is doing much more than just building your code. So one thing, it has a very heterogeneous approach. So it kind of embraces the reality that the software stacks of the current and even more so of the futures are heterogeneous, right? Mm-hmm. Include many different technologies, JavaScript, Android, Java, etc. And then that the challenges for build system have increased a lot in terms of scalability. The software stack's getting larger and larger, and you still want to have fast feedback. And the other thing is, you want not just to build your stuff. You have challenging dependency management requirements. You have challenging build promotion requirement, how your software travels from QA to capacity testing, etc. You have you want to have a really deep CI integration. You have configuration management issues, and all those areas we call kind of beyond build functionality. That's also a key focus for us. That Gradle becomes real. Kind of a platform at the heart of your continuous delivery process.
Nice. Okay, so anything you're interested in showing us today?
Yeah, I would like to show kind of some generic services of Gradle that makes the life of the build master and the developers using the build much easier. So the first thing I would like to show is the Gradle wrapper.
Okay.
So if you look here, this is just a normal Java project. It's called Java Standard and it's built with Gradle. This is the Gradle script you need to build that. But that's not what I want to talk about. You can add a wrapper task to such a project, and then you can tell Gradle, the build master usually does that, hey Gradle, execute a wrapper task. And what that wrapper task is doing, in contrast to what a build usually is doing, producing output in your build directory, this wrapper task is producing output in your root directory, creating a Gradle W script, a Gradle W bat script, and in a Gradle directory, a wrapper directory with a Gradle wrapper jar, which just has a couple of kilobytes, and a Gradle wrapper properties file. And those files you would be now committing to version control. And then if a developer checks out from version control and has those 4 files, this person doesn't need to have Gradle installed. This person can just use Gradle W as the Gradle command, and then Gradle is automatically downloaded from the distribution URL you have specified here, and the build works. And if you upgrade to a new Gradle version, you just upgrade your Gradle wrapper properties file, commit it back to version control, developer do an update, and so you have zero administration on the client side, and you have build reproducibility.
That's pretty nice. I mean, I think we get a lot of questions on build systems on my open source projects, and that would make it a lot easier for us to get new people to just build the code quickly.
So one of our mantras is no build wikis, right? I think it's often too hard for the developers to work, especially in with larger enterprise builds, and we try to invest a lot of stuff to kind of get some of this kind of maintenance burden from the developers and automate it. And that's also what the next example is about. It's about init script. So here we have another simple Java project. It's called Testing with Gradle, and and I want to show you now how you can inject behavior into a Gradle build. I skipped the very first example. It's pretty simple, and so what you can do with Gradle. We have in Gradle the concept of init scripts. So let's start here. And so in Gradle, you can create a script which you can inject into any Gradle build that is running on your machine, for example. And you can then tell Gradle, hey, Gradle, give me an object that represents the build runtime of the build that you're running right now, where you have injected the script. And then you can get access to this build runtime, and you can tell the build runtime, hey, after you've evaluated all your build scripts, please notify me, and then give me again the Gradle object. And then you tell the Gradle object, hey, give me the root project and iterate over all the projects in this Gradle project. If you have a multi-module build, right? If you have a single project build, it's only the root project. And then you can, for example, do stuff like, okay, Gradle, now give me all the test tasks, and for each test task, please inject the following behavior. I want to get notified after you've run a test in real time, and then please pass me the result of that test execution, and then I can calculate, for example, the time it took to execute that test, and can issue, if, for example, it took longer than 20 milliseconds to run the test, I can issue a warning that this particular test is long running. A lot of cool stuff is going on under the hood. I mean, you have to imagine there's a remote JVM running the test, right? And the JVM running the Gradle build itself, and there's inter-process communication, but you don't need to bother as a developer. And now you can go to your project, Testing with Gradle, and you can inject this init script, right? And you run this build, and you see in real time, you now have that behavior. And you can do a lot of cool stuff with this init scripts. You can, for example, inject behavior. Oh, please check whether you've used a repository that you are not allowed to use. And you can say that you inject this behavior only on the CI, because on the local build, you should do whatever experiments you want to do. Yep. But on CI, you want to make sure. And so Gradle provides you a really deep API to learn about the build and enforce certain rules and things like that.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
So and the last thing I would like to add is that you now can add such an init script to the init.d directory of a Gradle distribution, and then you can point your Gradle wrapper to such a Gradle distribution with pre-delivered init scripts that are auto-applied to any build you're running on this machine. So the developers can get a completely auto-configured build environment out of that, with rules specified, with all the infrastructure stuff already specified without reading any build wiki.
Cool. All right. So on the stream, some folks have been asking questions. They're curious about different technologies and using them together with Gradle.
Yeah, cool.
So I'll call out some stuff which folks are interested in, and let me know if either you've had experience with these, or folks who have tried using these together with Gradle, or whether you see any issues or complications. So Mike was wondering about creating build scripts that use RoboVM and OpenJDK. RoboVM is a cross compiler which generates iOS code for Java applications, and it's commonly used with JavaFX as a UI.
Right. Okay. So that would be an interesting question for Richard Baer to ask. So I don't know. In general, Gradle it's a first-class kind of Citizen and Gradle to deeply integrate with external tooling.
Mm-hmm.
And deeply integrate means really deeply integrate. So for example, wrap this with a Gradle task and then enable incremental build for this kind of stuff. So that way you can always proceed, but I don't have experience with that explicitly. So if you send, you can send me your email address, and I'm happy to do some, to ask some folks whether they have experience with that, and then could get back to you.
Okay. And another question about whether you know if anyone's using Gradle with ADF.
ADF is
so it's a JSF like framework for doing web UIs.
Yeah. Oh wow! You've hit all my blind spots. No, I wouldn't know. Again, the thing is, so what is, from a build perspective, what is so do you have then a kind of pre-compiler and stuff like that, or what is from a build perspective, what is the special stuff you need to do for ADF support?
That's a real, I should know this since it's an Oracle technology, but I don't know the build construction for ADF offhand. But maybe we can get back on this one as well.
Yeah, I'm more than happy. So just
see,
there is a question in the Gradle forum. So about that. We get the answer here. ADF used to have OJ make and OJ deployed CLI tools to build ADF applications. And then our guy said that makes it a good opportunity for the community to step in and create an ADF plugin. So we don't have an out-of-the-box solution for that. But you can, as I said, you can easily integrate existing functionality. For example, Gradle ships with AND. We consider AND an integral part of Gradle, the AND tasks, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a wealth of tasks out there. So someone is asking, do you support deployment to WebSphere 2.0 from 1935 or something like that? Yeah, we say, well, I'm sure there's an AND task out there. So yes, you can.
And you can call the AND task to accomplish the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, so it's probably doable, but it doesn't sound like there's direct support from the Oracle ADF team to use Gradle right now.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in San Francisco in a few weeks, Hans.
Yes, me too.
And good luck finishing up all the work you have before then. I'm sure you have a pile of both Gradle and also session prep.
Thank you. I'm sure you will be also busy at a conference and have to do some preparations, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you there. Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, so I killed